In this video I'm going to show how I set up the character that I use in this BIfrost simulation. There's a couple of things you have to make sure that you get set up for it to work properly. So what I'm doing is I'm just using in Maya some of their free examples from the content browser. So in their animation under rigs, there's some rigged human IK examples, and I'm just going to use one of these. So for this one I use Kumar, and just turn on his material. So I want to generate two things from this character. One, I'm going to make an Alembic cache of an animation of him running, and secondly, I want to bake out the shader, the surface shader, as a single image. Currently at the moment BIfrost doesn't let you bring in textures into it, only does colour per vertex. So I want to bake out the shader and then bring it back in as a vertex colour. So baking it out, I'm just going to go Sky Dome under Arnold lights, so Arnold lights Sky Dome. To do that, just put the samples to 3, so get rid of the noise. And you can see there's nothing around him; he's just floating in the air with this light universally lighting him from every angle. So with that, I'm just going to go to Utilities under Arnold again, and I want to go Render Selection to Texture. And the only thing I really changed here is I changed that to 2048, and I pathed it to my source images, which is this one. And as you can see, it just basically bakes out an image very similar to the diffuse, but it's adding a bit more lighting information in there. You're getting a bit of highlights and shadows and stuff that you're not getting in just a diffuse. So using that rather than diffuse, it's going to match, cancel that, match slightly better when we do the transition from the character to the NPM solver, so you won't get so much of a pop. It was just sort of there-ish. It's here. Where do we take over? It's bum, bum, bum. It's there. So that is the transition. So the colours don't pop too much. They're sort of vaguely similar. So I'm not going to hit render again because it takes quite a while. But yeah, we've just hit render after that, and that's the baking out of the shader network done. And then I want to apply a bit of mocap to him. I can get rid of this light now. I don't need it. So content browser again, and in animation we go to motion capture FBX, and I'm using the run jump, which I'll just drag in. That, so we should now have this mocap figure that does a run and a jump. So I want to attach his rig to this mocap. So you do that by going Windows, Animation Editors, Human IK. You get this little window here. So we're interested in this character, which at the moment is set to our character here, our Kumar. And we've got a source. At the moment it's the control rig, so that's where it's getting all its information from. So if I just click on that, drop down, and we should now have a run and jump. Thinks about it, and now he will do the same thing the mocap's doing. The next thing I want to do is I want to export out the Alembic cache. You don't really need to do this, but it just makes it all a bit lighter for your machine. So I'm just gonna, where does it end? Frame 43. So put my timeline to that, so it just runs through with him selected. I'm just going to do one more thing when I reapply the vertex, the texture of the vertex colour later on, because he's quite low poly, it would be quite blocky because they're actually applied obviously to each vertices. So I might just add a smooth just to give us a bit more information for our colour. So when we do it, so now each vertice will have a bit of colour and it'll be slightly less blocky. So with that done, I'm just going to go cache, Alembic cache, export to selection, time slider. I'm going to go down here and just want to make sure, I think I've turned these on. I want to make sure you've got UV sets, UV right. Don't think we need colour sets at the moment, so I think there's these two. So we go export, and I've already got one there, just reuse that one. And yep, what happened there? They have an ancestor relationship. Maybe, let's have a look. It's a new one on me. Let's try that again like that. Maybe I had the group selected. Let's try that then. Yep, there we go. I had the group rather than the mesh selected. Okay, so I can now just bring him in just to make sure he's okay. So import Alembic, comes in. I'm just going to hide these ones. H. So now we've got him. Does the same thing, but he's just mesh now. And I'm just going to reapply this material, make sure that's all working, which it is, which is good. And the final thing I'm going to do is, he is massive in the scene. That's our grid, so you can see he's like a huge giant. So I'm going to shrink him down. In sort of BIfrost and all sort of simulations, scene scales are very important, and generally 1 unit is considered 1 meter. So at the moment he's almost like the height of the Eiffel Tower or something. So I'm just going to scale him down to 0.01. So now he's tiny there. So now he's just about 2 meters, which is not too bad. It's a very tall man. So just freeze those transforms, modify, freeze transforms, and then that's our character set up for the next bit to go into BIfrost.